Hi everybody, welcome to our YouTube videos Getting to Know BMO, and our subject this week is new to Canada mortgages. So if you're new to Canada, you're looking for a mortgage, we have the ideal person to tell you all about it, because we have Assad Naeem with us from the Bank of Montreal, of course, BMO, who's going to walk us through it. How are you today, Assad?
I'm doing quite well. Thanks a lot, Stu. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm enjoying summertime. You know, every now and again we get a bit of smoke.
Yeah.
But we're also getting the heat. The thunderstorms have been a bit of a panic every now and again. It's a shame because you get a nice day, and then at the end of the day, around about summertime maybe, you've always got this risk of thunderstorm.
Yep, absolutely. But it keeps us cool. That's the
Yeah,
good
it
part.
keeps us cool. I think we're all good. The grass is nice and green. The sun is out most of the day. Well, all day.
Absolutely.
So you've done a bit of travelling as well. Did you go up to Canmore a couple of times? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I went to the mountainside, went from Canmore up to Lake Louise and back forth from there. So it was a good trip. I don't think we left anything off the table. We did just about every activity you could do in between those areas. So it was fun.
Yeah, it is a nice trip, that, isn't it? It's gorgeous, you know. When I was back in England 20 years ago, before I came to Canada, and I was working in radio, and one of the guys I was working with, it was his bucket list. It was on his bucket list to do Banff, or Canmore, Banff, Lake Louise. And it's funny now because when you live here, of course, it's in your backyard.
You take it for granted.
you do get a bit blasé, you know. Even though the mountains always look pretty awesome. Please take us in, Assad, and explain new to Canada mortgages.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stu. So yeah, we're talking about mortgages for people that are new to Canada. And new to Canada can be anywhere between 1 year to 5 years that you're in Canada, right? So if you're new to Canada and it's been, within 5 years, then this relates to you. This can definitely help you qualify for a mortgage. So what do you need to know? What do you need to do? First thing is that you need to have a job, right? You need to have some sort of job, either a full-time job, a part-time job, or even if you're self-employed, right? The easiest way is to have a full-time job and be past the probation mark, meaning 3 months into it. That way, all you need is one most recent letter of employment and one pay stub. But doesn't mean that you can't qualify as a part-time or self-employed. You can always qualify as a part-time or self-employed too. For that, you just need 2 years of your tax filing history, along with its notice of assessments and a letter of employment to show that you're still working there, right? There are other documents that we could use if you can't get a hold of those, but of course you can contact us and we'll be able to give you more details. Now, some people think, hey, I'm new to Canada, I just got my job, I don't have any credit cards, and I don't have any credit history. Well, that's why the New to Canada program exists, because we realize that newcomers to Canada don't have that much of a credit history. So for that, we can use utility bills, we can use landlord letters, we can use various other methods to show that you've been paying your bills or paying your debt obligations on time and as agreed for an extended period of time. So that way we don't need credit history based off of Canada. Or if you were in a country that does keep a credit history, such as an equivalence to Equifax or TransUnion, then we can use that foreign credit history to see if you were keeping track of your debt obligations in your country where you were coming from as well. And then for down payment, the minimum down payment is always 5%, and that has to be from your own resources. That doesn't mean you can't use borrowed funds. You can always use borrowed funds too. For example, you can have a total of 10%. Minimum still has to be 5% from your own resources, and the other 5% can be borrowed as well. So yes, you can use borrowed funds, but remember the minimum of 5% has to be of your own resources from your own savings. And it can be from your savings earned over here, or it can be your savings earned from abroad, or from selling property from abroad, or anything like that, but it just has to be your own money for a 5% minimum down payment. So there are ways for you to get a mortgage. It doesn't mean that you have to have the pristine credit score, or you have to have a credit score. You can be developing credits, and it doesn't mean you have to be settled into Canada to buy a home. Anyone can buy a home at any time, just as long as you follow these tips and tricks. And if you have any further questions, you can always contact us and we'll be happy to help you out. But that, in a nutshell, is how newcomers to Canada can get a mortgage here in Canada.
Thanks, Assad. And as we always say, don't we, we're here to help people. All they've got to do is either email to contact us or phone us direct. Your information with mine is coming up at the end of the video. And we'll walk them through it. We're always here to help. We're not, well, you're in a big organisation, but, you know, it's easy to get hold of us. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And you can walk people through it. So that's another topic then, New to Canada mortgages. And we'll talk to you this time next week and pick another subject. Thanks, Assad, for being with us. Thank you.